Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Chantel, and today for my midweek movies video I am going to be doing a haul, actually. So I'm not going to be talking about any specific, I'm not going to be doing like a specific movie review this week. I am going to be going through a bunch of films that I've recently purchased on 4K. Many of them 4K, a couple just regular Blu-rays, but all of these are films that I've recently added to my collection in the past 6 weeks or so. Some of them I bought, all of them I've purchased on sale. I mostly buy things on sale. I rarely purchase things at full price. I'll wait usually until there's a sale on, unless there's something really very specific that I want. But yeah, so let's get started because I have 13 movies to talk about. Yeah, there's a lot. I've got a lot going here. So first of all, Groove was having a Father's Day sale on a bunch of their 4K Blu-rays. So I bought a bunch of them because they were like $11 a piece, as long as you bought like 3 at a time. So it was like 3 for $33. So I bought 6 because sure, why not? I literally have so many of these that they're becoming unwieldy for me to handle. So first I purchased the 4Ks of the Tim Burton Batman and Batman Returns. So these are the Batman films that I grew up watching. I believe Batman was 1989. I think it was originally released in 89. And Batman Returns was like 91 or something like that. So yeah, these films are what I grew up watching, and Batman Returns in particular was a film that I had on VHS when I was a kid, and I cannot tell you how many times I watched Batman Returns on VHS as a kid. I was constantly playing it. I pretty much wore out the tape. So yeah, this is like a big nostalgia bomb for me. And since both of the Tim Burton Batman movies were on this sale, I figured I might as well get both of them. If I was going to get Batman Returns, I might as well get the original Batman, and I do really enjoy it. I like Michael Keaton's Batman. I really like, Jack Nicholson is great in this. Again, like, Danny DeVito is the Penguin for me, and Michelle Pfeiffer really is Catwoman. I like Anne Hathaway, don't get me wrong, and I enjoy Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy, but yeah, these are definitely the films that I grew up watching. This was my Batman, right? So that's these two. Then I picked up Amadeus. This is just a beautiful movie that is really, really watchable. And if you're not familiar with this film, it is about Mozart, obviously. It's about the sort of rivalry between Antonio Salieri and Mozart. These are two significant composers in Austria in the late 18th century. So it's a period piece, it's lush, it's beautiful, it's well written, it won a bunch of Oscars, as you can see on the front cover. It's a great film. And it was on this sale, and I was like, hell yeah, I better pick this up in 4K. Great in 4K. This was directed by Milos Forman, I believe. And then I picked up a few classics that I wanted to have in my collection on 4K. So I picked up Singin' in the Rain, directed by Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly. I don't know that I need to say anything about this more than I've already said, and more than has already been said by many other people. It's a fantastic film, and it looks beautiful in 4K. I've already watched this one. Another one that I've already watched is The Sting, directed by George Roy Hill, starring Paul Newman and Robert Redford. This is the classic con movie where these two guys, Paul Newman and Robert Redford, team up to pull the biggest, most elaborate con ever, and it's amazing, and it's also beautiful in Technicolor. It's a great film to watch. Very twisty kind of plot, and just lovely. So yeah, that's The Sting. And then I also picked up North by Northwest in 4K. Obviously, this is an Alfred Hitchcock film, a classic, starring Cary Grant. And again, I don't know what else to really say about this. If you haven't heard of North by Northwest, I don't know what to tell you. You should probably go look it up and watch it if you can, because it's amazing. It's one of the best crime thrillers ever made. So yeah, that's North by Northwest, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. So those are the 6 movies I got from Groove on their Father's Day sale back in June. And then, of course, in July, we've had the Criterion sale at Barnes & Noble, where all Criterion titles are 50% off at Barnes & Noble. As of recording, I'm recording this on Sunday the 26th. This is the last day of the sale, and I went and picked up just a few more titles. So yeah, I have a bunch of new Criterion editions to my collection to talk about. So the first thing I picked up probably needs no introduction. This is Killers of the Flower Moon, directed by Martin Scorsese from 2023. Yeah, I don't know what to say about this. It's an amazing film. Martin Scorsese is a master filmmaker, and coupled with the beautiful Criterion release that this got, with amazing artwork and beautiful shots from the film. And then the booklet just fell out there. It's got a beautiful booklet as well. Cannot say enough about this film. It's amazing. And yeah. Now I gotta get it back in the box because I took it out. Yeah, this is a director approved 4K transfer of Killers of the Flower Moon. You know, obviously it has to be in my collection. There's no other possible outcome for this. So that's that. Then I purchased another, what is for me a must-have, and that is Trouble in Paradise. This is directed by Ernst Lubitsch from 1932. This is a sparkling, sexy comedy from 1932. It's a pre-code film, which just means that it was made in a few years before the production code was actually enforced. And so there's a lot of basically extramarital sex going on here. It flouts the rules laid down in the production code quite extremely. And it's all done with the Lubitsch touch, which is this magical thing that Lubitsch had that made everything, even the most sort of tawdry of subject matter, seem urbane and sophisticated and beautiful, and that's what this is. So Trouble in Paradise is a classic love triangle story about a con man, played beautifully by Herbert Marshall, and his girlfriend, played by Miriam Hopkins. They plan to con a wealthy Parisian businesswoman, played by Kay Francis, out of a bunch of her money to abscond with it. And then Herbert Marshall kind of starts to fall for Kay Francis over the course of this long con, and Miriam Hopkins kind of gets jealous, and it's a love triangle-y kind of romantic sex comedy. And it's absolutely lovely. It's delightful. I've actually already watched this. I pretty much had to pop it in as soon as I got it home because it's one of my favorites of all time, and it is just as good as I remembered. This film is so funny and so sexy. Everybody in it is just so attractive. So yeah, it's a very, very good movie. Highly recommend this. This is Ernst Lubitsch's Trouble in Paradise. If you're not familiar with Ernst Lubitsch, I think Trouble in Paradise is a really good place to start with his filmography because, yeah, it's incredibly funny and super fun. And a lot of his films are in the Criterion collection, but yeah, this one might be my favorite. It might be my favorite. Then I did pick up a couple of sort of regular Blu-rays because they don't, at least not yet, have 4K releases. So I picked up Black Girl. This is directed by Ousmane Sembene, who is a Senegalese director. And this is a story of a young woman who moves from Senegal to Paris to essentially be a live-in nanny for a white French couple. And it's just about sort of her trials and tribulations as a black girl in Paris in the 50s. I think this was released in, this was 1966, so early 60s. But yeah, so it's very much about race relations in France and the, the lingering effects of colonialism. And it's very, very good. Yeah, I think this was his feature film debut, Ousmane Sembene. So this is his first feature film. But yeah, it's a great movie. Again, highly recommend if you're interested in non-European and like non-Japanese film. This is a good place to start. Ousmane Sembene is a great place to start. And then the other regular Blu-ray I picked up is one of my favorite films of all time. It is now Voyager, directed by Irving Rapper. This stars, of course, Bette Davis in one of her finest roles as this sort of spinster who has been kind of, she's got a really domineering mother, and then she eventually finds the courage to sort of go off on her own, and she takes this cruise to South America, and she falls in love with a married man. So it's a very sort of dramatic, it's a women's picture, women's picture, or a weepy, so it's a melodrama, but it's very enjoyable. This is the film that really made me fall in love with Bette Davis. Bette Davis is great as a catty, kind of villainous character, and she does a lot of those. But this is her in a rare sort of lead romantic role that is just absolutely great. She was, in a lot of ways, I think, the queen of the women's picture, at least at this time. And this is a really, really excellent example of that kind of melodrama from 1942. So this is kind of an earlier version of the 1950s Douglas Sirk melodramas. So yeah, it's a really great film. We are almost done. I have just a few more. I picked up the 4K edition of Salaam, Bombay. This is a film by Mira Nair. This is her debut narrative feature film. Before this, she'd done some documentary films, but this is her first narrative film, and it's a great movie about sort of the underclass and the marginalized in the city of Bombay at the time, which is the late 1980s. So this was released in, I think, 1988 is the year on the spine, at least. I have another of her films in my personal collection from Criterion, which is Mississippi Masala, and that is probably my favorite Mira Nair film, but this is also really good. Again, it's largely, the cast is almost entirely just people that she met on the streets of Bombay, and then cast them in this film. So it's very sort of like an Italian neorealist type film, but in India. So yeah, this is really, really fun movie. A great picture of a very specific time and a very specific place in India. So love this movie. And then finally, I picked up a couple of noirs from Criterion. I picked up Charles Vidor's Gilda, starring Rita Hayworth. This is, of course, Rita Hayworth's breakout role and honestly her most iconic role of her career. This is a beautiful 4K restoration of this film, and it's, I don't know what, again, this is another one of those films that, what can be said about this film that has not already been said. Much ink has been spilt about this film over the years, and I just, I saw it on the shelf and was like, hell yeah, it's 50% off, I'm gonna grab it. So there is Gilda. And then finally, another film that really doesn't need much of an introduction, and that's The Big Heat, directed by Fritz Lang. I'm actually not entirely sure if I've seen this one before. Sometimes the film noirs kind of all blend together in my head. So I will actually have to sit down and watch this to see if I've seen it before or if this is a first time watch. Either way, I'm going to have a good time with it because, again, beautiful 4K restoration. It's got, all of the classic noir stuff in it, and there's lots of great extras, some audio commentaries, video essays, some audio interviews with the director, all kinds of interesting stuff. So that's one of the great things about Criterion discs is that, the films are the films themselves are obviously, you know, treated with a large amount of care, and they also tend to have a lot of really good extra features on them as well to really enhance the experience of watching the film, and that's true of every Criterion disc you will buy. So yeah, that is a lot of movies. But I've been having a good time shopping for some movies lately, and I hope you enjoyed seeing all these movies that I have purchased. Let me know in the comments below what you've seen of these, if any of these sound interesting to you. Let's talk about movies. As always, like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!